Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Town Council of the Town of Clarkdale for Tuesday, April 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the Clark Memorial Clubhouse. Roll call, Vice Mayor Hunsetter.
Here.
Councilmember Babbitt Pierce.
Present.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Present.
And please note, Mayor Prudhomme Bauer is here. We do have a quorum. Before we go to public comment, I just want to welcome our new town manager, Lou Anderson, to your first meeting. So welcome. Okay, let's move on to public comment. The town council invites the public to provide comments at this time for items that are not on the agenda. We may not discuss those items. The council can't that come up under public comment. Therefore, any action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date. If you're interested in making a public comment on a specific agenda item, you are asked to complete a brief form if you want to. It's not, if you do, that's okay. If not, I'll just call for public comment at that time. And we will take that up when that item comes up on the agenda. If you're going to speak under public comment, please come to the podium, state your name, and if you're a Clarkdale resident, and you have 3 minutes to speak. And if there is anybody online who wishes to speak, just put a note in the chat and our town clerk will let you in to speak for public comment. At this time, does anyone wish to speak, give public comment on an item that is not on the agenda? Anybody online, Charity? Okay. Seeing no one coming up to the podium, let's move on to reports. Current events in the packet that's online are brief reports from the mayor, vice mayor, and council members of their activities last month. Item 4B is our organizational reports, and we'll start with Verde Valley Transportation Planning Organization.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We met last month, had a great meeting with presentations from some community partners who are involved in transit in the region. Each of them provided a SWOT analysis. So opportunities, threats, the things that are going well, the things that could be troublesome in the future. We had a lot of really good conversation around funding for organizations. Arizona is one of only 5 states in the country that does not give any of their state money for paratransit. So that was super interesting. So those minutes will be available shortly, and I will share with the council if anyone is interested. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. NACOG, Northern Arizona Council of Governments.
Next meeting will be April 23rd.
April 23rd, thank you. NAMWA, Northern Arizona Municipal Water Users Association.
Next meeting is on Friday.
Okay. Transportation Policy Advisory Council. That's true. Verde Front Leadership Council, we held a meeting on April 2nd to discuss the refocusing of Verde Front. It was a lot of good discussion, and the facilitators are taking all that information and coming back with some plans for how we go forward at our next meeting, which is May 19th. So Sustaining Flows Committee.
No, we haven't met since last.
Yavapai Communities for Young Children.
We had our quarterly meeting in March. really great turnout, really great conversation. We are selecting our new goals for the rest of our grant cycle. And we had such good conversation that we weren't able to narrow it down to just two. So we will be meeting again in the next couple of weeks to finalize those goals. And I will share them with everyone when we have them.
Great, thank you. Vulnerable road users.
I missed it last Monday because we were in budget session and I have not seen the notes yet.
Okay. NACOG Community Action Board.
Sorry, we meet in May.
Okay. Yavapai County Water Resources and Open Space Committee. Yes, we did have a meeting at the end of March. And we're continuing to try to focus in on where we're going to really put our energies around things like stormwater recharge. That was the major discussion last time, was on that, and policy development, I think, is another one coming up. So we're going to continue to meet, and as we get more specific, I'll bring a much more detailed report forward. That's it in our organizational reports. Number 5 is consent agenda. We have 2 items on consent this evening. The first one is approval of the minutes of March 24th. The second one is a joint defense agreement with the city of Cottonwood. Do either of these items need to be pulled for further discussion? Okay, seeing nobody wanting to pull them, I'll take a motion to approve consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and seconded by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce to approve the consent agenda items A and B as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to new business. Our first item on new business tonight is a presentation on the Verde River Watershed Report Card. And we have with us David Gressley from Friends of the Verde River, who will give the presentation. Come on up to the podium, David. Are you doing okay with your foot? Oh, there we go. And welcome.
So, we just thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Vice Mayor. Real pleasure to be here. My first time actually to speak to the council. But I wanted to say one thing before getting into the actual presentation, which is that I've been impressed by the proactive approach of Town Clarkdale for protecting, preserving, and making the Verde River accessible to as many people as possible. Does that work?
Get like that, or should I hold it?
Either way.
I'll just let it go like that then. So honestly, you do a great job.
Thank you.
In Clarkdale, and I think you all should be proud of the work that you do. So thank you very much. Good to see you all today. So maybe a little background on the report card. I know Councilmember Laura, she's a little bit familiar with this one. So I'll try not to be too repetitive, but we do this every 5 years. I can now say that since it's the second report card after 5 years. And we would like to see this happen every 5 years going forward. Basically, it's an opportunity to take just to take a look at where the river and the watershed as a whole is, and to try to identify progress, which we would like to celebrate, but also challenges that remain, and particularly to decision makers like yourselves, this can help you make choices going forward when it relates to areas of your jurisdiction. this was a product that was done through a large stakeholder process. Well, I should define the watershed as well, just to make sure we're all familiar. We really are covering the whole watershed from the upper Verde down to the lower Verde, just down to the reservoirs, all the way east to the Payson area, all the way over west to the Prescott area, up to the Humphreys Peak, basically, is the watershed. Though the core of it remains the middle Verde, where we are today. What we would like to present to you today is a bit of the report card. It is a report card, so there is a grade associated with it. As I keep telling everybody that I meet on this, if I came home with a C+ average after my in high school, I think I would have had a long discussion with my parents. So there's obviously still work to be done, but there is work that has really made a difference for this river, and I think we need to be able to acknowledge that. So let me just describe a bit about the report card itself. You can see it's obviously a circle, but the main thing is to look at the inner circle with the three parts. It looks at basically water, the quality and quantity of water, habitat, upland, riparian, and aquatic, but also communities, because we believe communities are an integral part of the valley, looking at vitality, engagement, recreation. So and the basic idea is to identify available data that tells us how well those particular areas are doing. And then the second, we'll see that later on, we evaluate this in 7 different regions of the watershed. So you can zoom in a little bit more on what's going on. So it's went up a little bit this time, a score of 58%, 1% improvement over 2020. But there's some variations that probably kept that score down. I'll describe that here in a minute. The water category scored 48%. And the primary reason for that, and I need to explain this, the previous report, the quality of water looked pretty good, but the certainty of that quality looked really bad. In other words, we weren't measuring it. So now we've gotten up to about 67, almost 70 locations that are measured. And we've started to identify where there are impairments in the river, particularly in the Middle Verde area, that should be looked at a little bit more closely. So the water quality certainty went up and the water quality itself went down. It's really a factor of we just know more what's going on as opposed to a real decline. And the second area that's kind of like that is education under communities. It doesn't look very good. It's based on graduation rates across the watershed. And it went down this time, but mainly because this time it incorporated online schools that typically have a lower graduation rate. So it didn't artificially, but by incorporating that, it reduced the overall average, bringing it down. So it doesn't really mean that there was a decline in the 5-year period. So I just want to point those two out as we go forward. Habitat, you can see the riparian and riparian birds, the two would go hand in hand, look pretty good. So a lot of the work, I think, in removal of invasive species over the years has transformed allowed native species to come back. And that has increased the quality of the habitat, particularly for our avian species. And I think there's over 270 species of birds that can be found in the Verde River. If you're a better nature guide than I am, you probably can find them. The upland areas, that actually went up as well, even though there's still much work to be done. But the initial work in terms of reducing sedimentation, which is really what this is about, has really started to gain speed and something that needs to be further enhanced over time. A lot of work has been done to control the erosion in the upland areas of sediment that comes into the river. And that, of course, has 2 impacts, one of which is very significant. But the first, obviously, is it muddies the river a bit. which is not always the best for aquatic life. So it has an impact on aquatic life. But as we also know, the sediment can go all the way down to the reservoir. And the Bartlett Reservoir right now is 25% silted in. And this is likely to result in a new dam and enlarged reservoir that will basically take up 6 additional miles of the Verde River that will be basically lost and will become a part of the reservoir. So in my view, that's a very loud cry that we need to do more on erosion control to stop this from happening in the future, at least slow it down so we don't face the same problem in the future. But nonetheless, the overall score has gone up. Native fish, still some challenges there, partly linked to the number of native species that are found. So that's still a challenge. Some of the here data becomes a question, just like it did for water last time, water quality. We lack a lot of data on macroinvertebrates, which are a good indicator of the quality of the river. So there's a need to start emphasizing better systematic collection of that data, just like we did for water quality. And then finally, we go down to the communities, and you'll see the 3 broad areas. Recreation, whether it's planning, visitor satisfaction, or access, all got very high scores. So I know you guys invented half of this stuff, if not all of it. So that's a very positive aspect. In fact, we're kind of looking now, maybe how do you sustain this in an appropriate way now that we've got to this level of recreation access. The engagement really is linked to digital engagement. And that's really looking at who talks about what part of the watershed. And not surprisingly, Oak Creek and Sedona are by far the most names invoked in social media. And then it declines quite rapidly through the rest of the watershed. So there may be a need to find ways to better describe the whole of the watershed, not just that portion of that. And then vitality, not too surprising. I mentioned the education already. Unemployment is not a significant issue. We all know affordable housing is an issue and one that we have to keep attention to. So that's what I would highlight there on this particular slide. So that's basically the report card. And when I finish, I'll take as many questions as you have going forward. So I need to advance this, I guess.
Any questions?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to endure a few more slides. And tell me when I need it. I won't go into a lot of detail as I've already done. So, and I've already described where the issues were on this one. And it's primarily because of the graduation rates in schools. So let's go on to the next one. Habitat went up for the reasons that I mentioned. So we're happy to see both the riparian as well as the upland scores go up. More challenges with the native fish, as I mentioned before. Let's continue. Water, a slight decrease for the reasons that I gave to you before. Greater certainty has given us indications of where the problems are. So we're now documenting those problems. And then the next slide, I mentioned the macroinvertebrates already. And so this is one of the areas that's really quite low, is the data collection on this area. Whereas the visitor satisfaction and riparian birds, both in the mid-90s, which is a pretty good score. So that's just a quick overview. And then I was just going to walk quickly through the different regions so that you could see that, as well as a comparison with 2020. So we're looking here at the Upper Verde. And you can see here the same thing that I mentioned before. So it had the lowest score for digital engagement in particular. So let's go on to the next one. And then, of course, this is more familiar to you all. You can see all the good scores on water quality certainty, bird satisfaction, recreation. Water quality index is the issue, and digital engagement that I mentioned before. So those are the highs and the lows for this particular area. The next region. I'm sorry, now this will give you just a comparison. I'll go through this in very, very quickly. You can see the differences between 2020 and 2025 with water quality. You can see below in the lower Verde, that's where the greatest issues emerged over last year, and it's what for the reasons that I described before. Let's continue to the next slide. This one is water quantity. So you can see some differences from 2020 to 2025 in the different regions. Let's continue. Upland habitat. Once again, you can see some improvements across the board, almost across the board in upland habitat. Continue. And this is riparian habitat, which nice to see it all green like that. So some really good work has been done over the years in that regard. Let's continue. Aquatic habitat. It's sort of mixed in both years. It's the data issue that I mentioned before. That's a really, particularly in the lower Verde River, that's a real issue on aquatic habitat. Continue. And now we'll do the community ones. Vitality scores are overall better. Continue. Engagement, you can see, well, I think part of the differences here is that we just measure different things. It's much more digital oriented in 2025 in terms of who's talking about particular regions on social media. And then the next one, which is probably, I think, the last one, you can see the overall recreation scores looking pretty good, almost across the board, with the upper Verde being the exception there. And I think that's it. Let's just see if there's another slide. So that's it. That's a quick review of where we were and where we are with the Verde watershed. So happy to take questions. Thank you very much. And also thank you for your all's contribution to our work on this.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
Yeah, thank you very much, David. Is there any questions for David? It's, you can see some changes, some positives in some areas that we need to work on. But there was also changes in how we gathered data. So we're getting better at getting data. So we're getting maybe a better picture today than we did 20 years ago, would you say, David? Or
Absolutely.
5 years ago?
Yeah, certainly over the last 5 years. And I would also say it's important. We're currently doing the water quality monitoring. We're finding funding challenges with that. I think we'll find solutions to that. But it is a reminder that the progress is gradual, generally in the right direction, but fragile. And it, you know, we talk about native species and invasive species removal, for example. That's a battle that can never really be won. It could be lost. So if you don't continue to monitor and remove where necessary, it can revert. And I'll just give you a couple of facts to put everything in perspective. The Verde River system is probably the most intact native vegetation river in the American Southwest. So that's a good achievement. Secondly, it's always, whenever I go to Phoenix, and I was in the Capitol last week talking to our representatives down there, actually, about the report card. It's always good to remind everybody down there that 24%, 25% of their water for the metro area comes from this river. So please be nice to us. And so it's an important river. And the last thing I would say, we need to remember that there used to be about 8 rivers like the Verde River in Arizona, and they're not there anymore. This is the last. It's a unique river now. It's a gem that we all need to learn how to continue to protect and preserve. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much for giving us a presentation on the report card. It's always important. And it's something that we value very much, as you know. It's one of our goal areas is to protect the base flow of the river. So anything that we do in our strategy, in our work, is is for that around the river, is to keep the base flow flowing.
Very good. And we're very much aware of that. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item 6B. This is a public hearing on the conditional use permit 250188 Circle K Gas Station and Convenience Store. We're going to be holding a public hearing, which means we'll have a presentation. Let me tell you the process. We're going to have a presentation from staff. Then we will open it up to public comment. I will ask you to come up to the microphone. I have at least one person who has put their name in, but I will, anyone from the audience can come up. Just state your name. And if you're a Clarkdale resident, you will be given 3 minutes to speak. After everybody is done speaking, we will close public hearing. And then we will go to the next item on the agenda, which will be the actual discussion of the conditional use permit. And that's where we will ask questions, consider and act. So our first item is going to be a public hearing. I want to just note for the record, we are in a public hearing, and I welcome Clover to give us a presentation on this conditional use permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm Clover Pinion with Community Development, and tonight I'm going to be presenting on conditional use permit 250188 for the Circle K gas station and convenience store.
Well, of course.
All right. You're it, Charity. Thank you. Right. All right. So just an overview about the project. As we all know, it's a convenience store with fuel cells. Say that 10 times fast. The convenience store is allowed in the current zoning, which is commercial. For the fuel cells, a conditional use permit is required, which is why we're all here. It's located on the northeast corner of State Route 89. It's located. Should I just take it out? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. It's located on the northeast corner of State Route 89A and Lincoln Drive. It's approximately 2.69 acres. Again, like I said, the zoning is commercial, and it is along the commercial corridor in 89A. We do have some residential uses to the north and east, and then commercial uses to the south and west. In the general plan and on the land use map, it is designated neighborhood commercial. The convenience store and gas station will be open 24/7. And just a couple of side notes is that the design review will be done administratively after the conditional use permit approval. And that signs are a separate permit as well and will also be done administratively. A few project details. It does include a 6-foot tall masonry wall, the length of the east lot line, which also includes the landscape buffering. The convenience store itself is going to be approximately 5,200 square feet. The canopies will have 12 fueling positions, and the height of that canopy is 18 foot 6 inches. The height is for safety. So when you have those big RVs and big campers pulling through, they can get under said canopies while fueling up. The project does include, Okay. Okay. The plan does include 26 parking spaces, including 2 ADA. They will have modern underground fuel storage tanks, and the circulation, landscaping, and outdoor lighting meet our current code. In addition, this project has been approved by ADOT. Some additional technical reviews. So the Planning Commission asked if they could do an analysis between the effectiveness of the 6-foot wall versus an 8-foot perimeter block wall. So they did so, and they found that the 6-foot wall would reduce the noise by approximately 9 to 10 decibels, and that the 8-foot wall by 12 or 13. This difference is actually really minimal and is usually barely heard by most persons. The way it sits now without anything on that property, they're affected by the traffic that goes up and down 89A, the traffic noise. So once the wall goes up, the 6-foot wall and the building and the landscape buffering, it'll actually be less than 45 decibels, which is going to be quieter than the traffic that currently goes, that produces noise that goes up and down 89A right now. So again, like I said, the building placement and the site topography provide just more effective buffering for that noise than would, increasing the wall height by 2 feet. So when you look at the topography too, you can see that it kind of slightly starts going down when you go from west to east. And so when you put the wall up a little bit higher, residents are a little bit lower. So again, the 6 foot is definitely adequate for helping to keep that noise to a minimum. Next, the site plan. So we have everything on here that we need. They meet the the setbacks. You can see the access points there on 89A and on Lincoln Drive. They're both really nice wide driveways. The one on 89A is 50 feet and the one on Lincoln Drive is 53. You can also see that right-hand turn deceleration lane on 89A, which is good for obviously the traffic going north there. The site plan obviously includes the building placement, all the parking, the canopies. And you can see there's a solid black line there on the east property line, which is that block wall that's going to come all the way down. Not all the way to Lincoln because it can't be in the site triangle, but it will come down to help buffer that residential area. Okay. All right, this is the landscaping plan. As you can see again along the east property line there's a significant amount of landscape buffering. They do provide it as well on anything that is along the street. You kind of see that big blank area down there in I guess that would be the south west corner. That is ADOT's property there. And there's also a detention pond. So that's why that is not landscaped there. So but they meet all the minimum requirements and actually they have more. And everything is on the approved plant list. All right, building elevations. So this is what you're going to see if you're looking towards the property, like say you were at Olson's Grain or Dollar General across the street on 89A. This is what the front of the building is going to look like. The tippitiest top, the highest point of any of the building is going to be 22 feet, and that's where that parapet reaches the max there. This elevation is going to be if you were on Lincoln Drive looking north, and the next, this is what it would look like if you were on the north side of the property looking south. And then this is the back of the building. So from the residential area, that's the elevation that they will see. And I do want to, and that's the color palette there. I did want to mention that all the roof equipment will be screened. So that's why you don't, like if you're wondering like, where's the AC, I don't see any of that on the roof. On the elevations, it's because it's screened. So it will not be visible. All right, so these are the elevations for the canopy. You can go ahead and click on the next one. So these are from the north and south, and then we have the main one that you see when you're looking straight on at the property, if you're looking from west to east. So again, from Olson's Green or Dollar General, this is the elevation of the canopy that you would see. Again, it's 18 feet, 6 inches. And again, it's that clearance for safety. This is a rendering. This is kind of what it would look like coming like from the northwest corner. And then this is more within the property, but more on the southwest corner. Kind of a view of what you would be looking at. These are just some site views of how it looks now. So this is from Lincoln Drive, looking north. And this is going to be looking from west to east. So this is kind of in the middle, 89A right there. Again, looking to the east. So this is if you're on the north end of the property looking south. And then if you're on the property looking west across 89A, there again, you'll see Olson's Green and Dollar General. All right, so after all of our reviews, we do find that this project is compliant with the required findings. In Chapter 5, conditional use permits, it does list out these findings here. Applicable regulations, bulk regulations, performance, traffic impacts, landscaping, and nuisance. So in the following slides, we'll get into more detail about each one of those and what we found. So the first is the general plan consistency. So it is on the land use map, neighborhood commercial, which again allows for the convenience goods and services. And it supports nearby residents and travelers, and it's consistent with that State Route 89A commercial corridor. Oh, it's going to go through all the little things. You can just click through. Yeah, so they're probably all going to do that. So if you just want to keep clicking. All right. I don't know why it gives them all the first time, but all right. So zoning compliance. The zoning district is commercial. So again, the convenience store is allowed. And then fuel sales are permitted with the conditional use permit approval. We did find that the project meets all the setbacks, the height and parking requirements, as well as landscaping and lighting standards. And it's going to go through and do the little. All right. So compatibility with surroundings. We did find this project would have minimal adverse impact based on the landscape buffering and the 6-foot solid wall along the east property line. They are going to follow dark sky guidelines, which is great, means the fixtures will be shielded. They don't have anything listed right now that's over 3,000 kelvins. There's no light trespass. Everything's within what our code requires. And again, building placement is going to help mitigate that noise and keep it at a lower level. And then convenience. So definitely compatible for our residents and the travelers along 89A. All right, traffic and access. So this project was designed to function with State Route 89A roundabout, which you can actually, that picture underneath is actually the roundabout in question. Again, they did include that right-hand turn deceleration lane on 89A to help with the flow of traffic and make access in and out easier. Again, both access points, so the one on Lincoln and the one on 89A are right in, right out only. The Circle K has coordinated with ADOT and they do have approval. The Planning Commission, when we presented to them, did have a concern about the median on Lincoln not being quite beefy enough to prevent residents from like turning left, like out or left into that access point on Lincoln Drive. And so Circle K did open up communication with ADOT to see what their recommendations would be and what they would like to see. But ADOT found that the existing median on Lincoln would be sufficient. Public health and safety. All right, so they are going to have the modern underground fuel storage tanks and spill containment systems. They're going to work with professional management and obviously follow all the regulatory compliance. They will have emergency shutoff systems and fire suppression systems. And they are going to file all the environmental protections and operational standards that are required by your local, state, and federal government. Infrastructure availability. So right now that parcel does have access to public water and sewer. It obviously, we can talk about the roundabout a lot, but it has an existing transportation network, which allows that, the easy access. It has access to electrical power and telecommunication, and it allows for emergency service access. The economic and community benefits. So it provides convenient services along that state Route 89A corridor for residents and for the tourists. There's a big one. Obviously, it's great for sales and property tax revenue for the town of Clarkdale. And it's also a local employment opportunity for our residents. So after all the reviews, the staff recommendation, and I don't know where the first came up, but is it stuck? All right, well, the staff recommendation is to approve conditional permit 250188. That we recommend approval of the conditional use permit, subject to the stipulations in the staff report. That's it for my presentation. If you guys have any questions at this time, obviously staff is here to answer, but we also have the applicants here as well.
I think if council will go with me on this, let's go ahead and have public comment. And if we have any questions that come up, we'll direct them to you and to the applicant, okay? If we need to. At this time, we are in public hearing. The first person I have, if you have a sign-in slip, please bring it up here to our town clerk and she will give it to me. As I said, you don't need to do one if you don't want. I will call you up to the podium to speak. If you have a question, please direct that question to me, and then I will ask, I will give it to the appropriate person to answer, okay? So the conversation is with us up here, not with the audience. So with that, I'd like to call Arlene Minnick up to the microphone. State your name if you're a Clarkdale resident.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and the City Council for hearing me tonight. I do ask for a little bit of leniency as I have a vision disability, so I'm a little bit slow in reading my notes, but I will do my best to stay within my 3-minute term. My name is Arlene Minnick, married to Jeff Minnick. We reside at 491 Lincoln Drive in Clarkdale. We've been there for 6 years. And we do have some concerns that I'd like to pose to the project manager and the city council or town council. And I'm going to have to put the mic down. These may not be in order of priority, but oh, thank you. These
There
may
we
not
go.
be in order of priority, but they are all important to us. So as I was listening to the planner speak, she posed a very beautifully aesthetic establishment. And I think that that would be more suitable in a more industrial area. We have a neighborhood where we live. We've already fought against a development going in of tiny homes on one side of us. And now we're posed with the situation of a huge Circle K open 24/7. My questions are, what happens to the dark sky? My other questions are, what about transient activity? How is that going to be controlled? We have a neighborhood where we have young people moving in all the time. There are young families, and I speak on behalf of my neighbors who we have spoken together. We're concerned about this. We're concerned about the transient on both ends of the road. I'm not going to get into the one tiny homes situation, but both places invite strangers, obviously, to frequent the businesses or establishments. And we know nothing about them. And I know that the Maverick has had a big issue with transient activity, as the Circle K. So we are concerned about those things. Like I said, these are not in order, but the planner also mentioned a 6-foot wall. And I can tell you firsthand, having worked for community development for the city of Sedona for 14 years, that theoretically a 6-foot wall might help, but it won't help. When the homes or condos or whatever they were called, I can't remember now, were built in front of Foothills South, we built a 6-foot wall. It didn't do a thing. It did not buffer the highway noise whatsoever. So they built it higher. That didn't help. So they built a second wall. And I don't know where that stands, but I can only imagine it probably hasn't made everybody real happy. So,
Arlene, we are at 3 minutes.
Oh.
So,
well, I did ask, I can't really see my notes that
I
well,
gotcha.
Mayor.
I will give you 1 more minute if you
Okay.
could please wrap it
Okay.
up.
Thank you. So those are our concerns. Also, you're going to have the sound of semis coming in to deliver fuel at midnight or whenever they do that. You're going to have the smell of fuel that we have to inhale. So those are my main concerns: transient activity, dark sky, noise, and safety. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a request from Michelle Goodman to come up and speak. Michelle, state your name. If you're a Clarkdale resident, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is Michelle Goodman, and I have 1361 Deborah Drive, Clarkdale, and I also have another piece of property at 89A. It's 1311 on 89A. So I have 2 pieces of property right there. I travel a great deal and did for business for 17 years across this great nation that we have. And I can tell you right now, when you go into town at night, drive into town, the Circle K is lit up so bright that it looks like daylight. Those lights don't go down. They stay on. And I didn't really see, and I appreciate all the work that the city has put into this, the town has put into this, and all of the people have put into this. But I really feel that this is something that is going to take away from the beauty of this community. It's going to take away from the towns, not only in the community, but also up there in Jerome. People are going to be stopping there. That'll be the last, besides the one gas station. They're going to be stopping there to get all of their junk food, their soda. You're going to lose a lot of money in this community and in that community up there. Not only do we have that problem, but the traffic coming off of onto 89A from Lisa, the traffic coming down 89A is horrendous sometimes. You've got the large trucks that you have to worry about. And I have seen many of the cement trucks that have been turned over. And it wasn't too long after they put up those light standards right there at the roundabout. And you all have to remember that those light standards were thrown off and knocked over. My daughter will not even let her children, who are now bicycle age, have gone to safety classes and so forth for bicycling. They are not even allowed to be up there on 89A because of that, the accidents that have taken place up there and how people aren't even in the community. When they're not from the community, they're driving along, looking at their phone, looking at the beauty of this area. So my ask is that you really take this as a deep consideration. There has to be other things to be put in. If you want more revenue for your city, then think about this. What you're taking away from these other business owners, number one, you've got Maverick down the street. They pull a lot of people. I'm with this lady out here. I can see underneath, and my grandkids have been down there hiking around on the back property of ours that meets up with 89A. There are transients that live underneath and stay underneath. Maybe it's just for shelter from the sun.
Michelle, you're at 3 minutes.
Okay, well, they have, you can see that there are people that live underneath there. They take their belongings underneath that big culvert that's right there coming off of Lisa. So I'm with this woman here. You're going to see a lot of problems, and that's what we have seen at the other Circle K. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
City.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else wish to make public comment at this time? Please come on up and state your name and if you're a Clarkdale resident.
I'm Tracy Lee, and I live in Centerville. My husband's over here, Kevin. We've been here about 4 years. I'm originally from the East Coast. But one thing I will tell you about Clarkdale, I don't think that we need another gas station. I don't think that we, what's that saying? Nothing good happens after midnight. And you see down the other Circle K, like they're saying, and down at the Maverick too. And right now we are in a sketchy economy. People don't have places to live. There's a lot of people hurting around here. And that late night vibe, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I just don't think how much traffic are we getting here late at night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? It's quiet here. The number one closes earlier, and again, the lighting too. And even that storage they put down here, that Columbia storage, I can't believe how bright that is. Do we really want that in our backyard? I think I work on the railroad here at Verde Canyon Railroad. I see hundreds and hundreds of people. They love the historic vibe here, that kind of small town feeling when they come here. When you put those big, gigantic things, it changes that, and I just don't see that it's necessary. I really don't. And also agree with these guys that, there's just an element of people that aren't doing well, and that late night vibe. And I don't see it's necessary. That's my 2 cents. So.
Okay, thank you. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Pam Ziltner. I live here in Clarkdale, and I agree with everything that gal just said. My thinking is we don't need this gas station, convenience store. We have the Maverick down in Cottonwood, even though that revenue goes to Cottonwood, and then we have the number one. And people, the tourists, as they're in their rental car or whatever, and they're going down the road and they're looking for a gas station, they're going to get on their phone and they're going to say gas station near me. They're going to find either the Maverick in Cottonwood or the number one. We don't need another great big gas station. And I agree with the whole light thing too. Even though it might comply with the dark skies requirements, it doesn't mean it's not too much light. There's still that Circle K in Cottonwood is amazing. Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Please come on up. Come on up, sir. State your name. If you're a Clarkdale resident, you have 3 minutes.
My name's Kevin Lee. I live in Centerville. I'd like to know the distance between the existing gas stations to this new one. Number one can't be more than a mile away from where the other one's going to be, and maybe a mile and a half away from the Maverick. Do we really need a third gas station? I just find it ridiculous for a matter of a 1 mile to build a brand new gas station. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. I think there was another hand. Come on up and state your name. If you're a Clarkdale resident and you have 3 minutes.
My name's Carrie Heisinger. I'm a Clarksdale resident. My husband's a Verde Valley Fire engineer for Verde Valley Fire. I own a business in Cottonwood. I have a primary care. I worked in the emergency department here for 10 years. I stopped riding bikes in this community about 20 years ago when I encountered a wrong way driver on the 17, and I actually encountered a wrong way driver on the roundabout down by number 1. And I gave up my road bike and I gave up my mountain bike because I realized that tourists and elderly folk that can't see well don't drive safely. And I witnessed it in the ER all of the time. My children are 12, 9, and 6. I don't allow them past Old Jerome Highway where we reside because it's just too unsafe. If we have a gas station with light standards that are continuing to keep our dark sky, I would be fearful that tourists that are stopping in the dark don't know how to get back onto the road. And one-way drivers, frankly, frighten the hell out of me. And mostly it's safety, but obviously everything that everyone has said here, this is why we have resided in the community for so long, because we have passion about our dark skies and our rural living, and making it convenient to go a half mile closer to a gas station. I'm disheartened by the potential of this.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Come on up, state your name. If you're a Clarkdale resident, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Scott Lewis. I am a Clarkdale resident, 1321 Deborah Drive. I just wanted to throw my voice to echo what people have said here about the character of the place. And you know, I appreciate all that you do, that you step up and you volunteer and you sit here in these and do all these meetings that you have. And I appreciate that time. But here's an opportunity for you to do a right thing. You know, we don't need this project. I think it's been stated often. Sure, it's convenient, but to who? Maybe to Circle K and their corporation, but not to us. And I would really hope that we could maybe figure a better way if revenue is what is the driving factor here. But for sure, I don't think this community would benefit from having another convenient store that's pretty inconvenient. But thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Come on up. Anybody else wishes to speak? State your name. If Clarkdale resident, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Bernice Lewis. I live at 1321 Deborah Drive, and I'm going to echo everything everyone said. And I just also want to point out that, like, when you talk about jobs, you're talking about just a handful of jobs. And when you talk about tax revenue, you're basically dipping into whatever the A1 is making. So even though, you know, maybe there would be a little bit extra that in the middle of the night, instead of going to Maverick, would go to us. But in the long, long run, I think we can do a whole lot better. I know that 89A is zoned for commercial development, but that doesn't mean it has to be all night and tacky and attract the wrong kind of thing. It's not why I moved to Clarkdale. I was looking for rural living like these people. And pretty disappointed to know that there's going to be something lit up 24/7 right near my house.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else wish to speak? I'm going to just make sure everybody's going to speak because we're going to be closing the public hearing. And at that point, you won't be able to ask questions. Okay, or make comments. So if there is nobody else coming up to the microphone, I would like to close public hearing. Is there anybody online who wishes to speak? No. Okay. With that, I would like to close public hearing and let's move on to the next item. which is the conditional use permit, permit number 250188, Circle K Gas Station and Convenience Store. This is our opportunity to discuss, consider, and act upon this conditional use permit. We've had the presentation from staff, and I'd like to open up to discussion or questions, comments from the council. Yes, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor. I understand that nobody wants development. That's why we're here, but we have to have it because we don't have enough people in our town to pay for the life that we like. I also used to work at the Verde Canyon Railroad. I was in marketing, and I think in about 2006, there was a marketing study done. It was really comprehensive. And it was the whole Verde Valley, Sedona, everybody. The amount of traffic coming from Sedona to Jerome every day in 2006 was over 250,000 people. Now, Clarkdale has to pay for the road for those people to get, actually they don't, that's ADOT, but we don't make any money off those people. We make nothing. Nobody turns down into Clarkdale. If they do, they mean to. The market is there. People across the country know who Circle K is. They trust it. Once people know a name, they are going to stop. So I'm for this project. I think it'll be a good addition to the town.
Thank you. Yes, Marnie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I feel extremely conflicted. I live on Linda Avenue. Many of you are my neighbors. So we're going to see this every night when we're sitting out on our back porch that faces that direction. We are also small business owners on 89A, and we know that we need more development for our business to be successful. And we moved into an already existing structure, but as a small business, there's absolutely no way we would have been able to build anything on 89A from the ground up. We had to move into something that was already there. And so we as a community are going to have to accept a couple of large businesses who have the capacity to come in and build projects if we want anything else to come. And my hope is that as this area develops, because that is our plan, and we do need tax revenue to pay for our police, our property taxes don't even pay for half of our police force. Never mind paying for our roads, paying for our parks, paying for the quality of life that we all want and deserve and came here for. So we need more development. That's where it's going to be. That's where it's slated to be. That makes sense. That's where the people are driving past. If we want people to stop and be part of Clarkdale, that's where it's going to be. So, you know, I still haven't totally made up my mind. But I hear you all, and thank you for being here and sharing your voices.
Thank you. Other comments, questions anybody has for staff or the applicant?
I'll join the conflicted crowd. I was on design review board when we brought in the Dollar General. And I was not a fan of the Dollar General. That poor Dollar General man got put through his paces. And I have to say, I was at the Dollar General yesterday. And I know that that Dollar General is the number 30 Dollar General in the state, which is not maybe a lot to brag about, but it means that our community is using that resource. I, like probably most of you, would love to have some fabulous boutique store come in with other kinds of retail options than a gas station. But I also understand that the town has to weigh who approaches us and what are the overall benefits to us. And so like Marnie so articulately said, we have to pay for our roads, we have to pay for our parks, we have to pay for all of those things. And Clarkdale needs to generate new income for our town, especially if folks have been paying attention to what's we've been talking about a lot at our council meetings, is how the state is trying to restrict how we can raise revenue. And if they do that, we risk losing millions of dollars of funding. And I don't think I'm overblowing that.
No, you're not.
And so we do need to look at other ways to have long-term revenue that we can count on. And in this instance, you know, it is a gas station convenience store that again may not be my first choice for what is here, but it is an opportunity for us as a community to put some more steady financial resources in place for us. It is why I was behind the Tawaki Inn so big. And I'm hoping the Dollar General will upgrade us to their next level of fancier store, which the Dollar General, they have another level of store. No,
Excuse me, you're not. to
Dollar
talk,
Generals,
please.
no $2 Generals. But I'm just saying, we need to shore up our resources. We do need to figure out how to capture some of those additional tax dollars for folks that are going to Jerome, people that are going to the Verde Canyon Railroad, people that are coming through here to go to Sedona. And this is not my ideal way to do that. But I think, as I said, I'm conflicted, but I do think it is a project that we have to very seriously consider.
Thank you.
Can we hear from the applicant?
Sure.
'Cause they've heard a
Sure.
lot of feedback and I'd just like
Sure.
to
Sure.
hear how they'd like to count.
Okay, no, Arlene, there's no comments from the public at this time, okay? This is our time to talk and to the applicant. So there's been a request, if you would come up to speak, somebody from from Circle K to maybe address some of the comments made by the public.
Hi, I'm Michael Kaler with Westwood Professional Services.
Can you put the microphone up? Yeah, thank you. Sorry, we're having a little technical difficulties with our whole microphone system, so it's not our usual system. So just have to bear with us, and that microphone needs to be close to your mouth.
Not a problem. I promise no karaoke. So I'm Michael Kaler with Westwood Professional Services. I am a sub-consultant for Circle K. We're primarily responsible for the site plan layout and the civil engineering of site design. So with that in my wheelhouse, I can answer questions along those lines.
Questions? Yes.
Can you address things like the light and noise issues that people brought up?
Okay. As was mentioned, we do comply with the dark sky ordinance. It was done by an electrical engineer. Foot candles, which is how they measure light, the brightness of the light, all around the perimeter of the property line. It's been shielded, as was pointed out, and it's zero all the way around the perimeter of the project, even along 89A. So.
The noise issue and the wall, can you speak to that?
Okay. So that came up last time, and we did have we looked at it from two different perspectives. One from civil engineering, which I can look at from the standpoint of grading for the proposed elevation of the finished grade on the Circle K, and also the proposed elevation of the top wall. And then we also looked at it from the standpoint of we had a sound engineer come in and do a study. So to be clear, from the civil engineering point of view, there's a much more, we say 6-foot wall, or we say 8-foot wall, but what we have is much more, which you have a situation where you have the existing property line, which is the north property line where the neighbors are. That's their property line. Then we have this large 20-foot buffer of landscape area, which is overly landscaped, which I think the planner just pointed out, but we are raising the elevation of the finished grade across that 20-foot buffer. So from the standpoint of the neighbors were from the neighbor's property line, say at the back of the Circle K. The top of the wall from that new finished grade that we've established would be 10 feet from the existing grade of the neighbors. And if you go down to the east or towards Lincoln, that grade goes up. We go up to 6 feet, and then we put the wall on top of that. So now we're 12 feet above. So you've got 20 feet away, you've got a buffer that's actually not 6 feet or 8 feet, it's 10 and 12. And so then from the noise study, as planner pointed out, the sound has to go up and over. So what the noise study did, the noise study looked at just the wall and looking at the difference between the sound going up and over an 8-foot wall versus 6-foot wall. Back down to the grade where we're talking about the neighborhood is at 10 and 12. So when he did that, he said that there was or his conclusion was that there was a 15% difference in measurable sound, which to the human ear, as the planner pointed out, is barely, if even perceptible to the human ear. So it would make there's not going to make any difference making it 6 foot or 8 foot, because in reality, we're actually going to be looking at a 10 foot or a 14-foot wall, which I think would be a little excessive. Then the conclusion from the sound study also was, I'm not sure if everybody caught it, was that the traffic in the Circle K with the wall that we're putting in and the distance and the buffering, and he's not even counting, some of those residents have walls there. He didn't count those walls. So on the residents have walls along their property line. So he didn't count those walls. So between our landscaping and the wall and the height of the wall and the difference between the Circle K elevation and the elevation of the buffer, he said the sound levels will be less than what they hear right now from the highway. That's the noise being generated from the highway.
Okay. Does that answer? Yes.
Can you address how Circle K handles loitering that might occur?
The loitering?
Loitering?
Oh, Brian, do you have?
Brian Belke with Circle K. Obviously, we do not allow loitering, and if there's any loitering, our manager will call the police and try to move them along. And if any neighbor would happen to be at Circle K and see anybody, they can let our manager of the store know and to say, hey, get this person off the property. They look sketchy, and our store employees will do that. Because obviously for Circle K to have like an inviting convenience store, we don't want vagrants either hanging out at our stores.
Do you want Randy to comment on this? Chief. Maybe I was going to see if Chief, you are here. Could you maybe come up and speak to this from the perspective of our police department, please?
At this point, I think he said it very well. If we're called, they will be trespassed, and all we need is for the manager or somebody on site to let us know that they don't want them there anymore. We then trespass them. If we call back again, they're arrested. So it's yes.
Do we have many problems with this at the number one?
No, we don't. No.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you coming up.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments you would like to have from the applicant? Any other comments? Any other questions from staff, from council members? Okay. I know that there's people in the audience who have questions, but we can, under this item, we can ask for you to come up if you have a question, not a statement. You can come and direct a question to us and we will have it answered. If that's okay with the council for us to open up for questions from the audience. Is that okay? Okay. I'm trying to be fair. Please come up to the microphone and state your question. And remember, questions only.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My
State
question,
your name again.
Arlene Minnick, again, 491 Lincoln Drive, Clarkdale. I do have a question. I was told that the Circle K was going up at the corner of 12th Street and 89A. What happened to that?
Okay, thank you, thank you. If you'd like to, please answer it.
That store in Conwood is still going up.
Uh,
Sorry, yes, that store in Conwood is being built. And we're actually breaking ground probably within 90 days. In Cottonwood past the Maverick on 12th Street.
The Cottonwood at 12th Street, the one on 12th Street and 89A, yes. Okay. Question.
Goodman. Do I have to state my address too?
Yeah.
No, just say Clarkdale.
Okay,
Yeah,
Clarkdale.
make sure you put the microphone up to your mouth, please.
I just wondered how many full-time employees will you have? How many part-time employees will you have? And what happens like down there at the Mingus and Main Street in Cottonwood? Do you happen to know about the vagrancies that goes on there? And I'm just asking, you know. if you
Please
could
direct
tell
your
us-
question to us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was supposed to be saying it to him.
Yeah, direct it to us and I'll direct it to them.
Okay. Yes, I want to know about the employment. How many people is that going to employ? I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of people employed there. And how much gas are we talking that's going to be coming through their tanks? Do they know?
Okay,
Have they said anything about all of that?
okay. Thank you. Do you wish to address her questions, please?
Sure. So as far as the number of employees, I actually don't know that off the top of my head. I can definitely get that answer back to you guys.
Please do.
As far as vagrancy at the store in Cottonwood or people that are hanging out, I mean, we have a whole department at our office in Tempe that just handles that kind of stuff. So people call in complaints, and then we obviously deal with it. I mean, Circle K doesn't want bad press. So if there's something bad happening and at a Circle K, if that, if that's in the news, that's bad for us. So we're always very proactive. Obviously there's lots of ills in this world, and unfortunately some vagrants tend to congregate at gas stations. Unfortunately we didn't cause it, and it's hard for Circle K to solve that. What was the other question? Oh, about gallons.
Yes.
I mean, we are like projecting, I think, 3 million gallons per year to flow through that, which is actually less than the Cottonwood store and less than the new Cottonwood store that we are building. So I mean, this will be a little lower volume store for us.
Thank you. Okay, one more question.
Thank you. Yeah, quick question, Mayor. What is the revenue that's estimated from the Circle K? I mean, what is this golden goose going to give us? I mean, is this that, I'm just curious. It sounds like, yeah, we need it. We need it.
Your question. Thank you. I have no idea what the estimated revenues are, and I don't think it would be up to the applicant if they have those numbers. Okay, any other questions? Please, just a question.
Question is, I heard you describe the lighting that is on the road, but I understand that at a 24/7 gas station that the pumps have to be very brightly lit at all times in order to have it open for 24/7. So that can't possibly do anything.
Is that your question? Thank you.
That will affect our dark sky, or won't it? Of course it will.
Thank you. Staff, can you speak to our applicant, either one, to the 24-hour, 24/7, and the brightness of the lights.
So true, in the center of the site, it obviously has to be lit up for proper operation. Because of your fuel, and we have to customers coming in and out of the store. What it does, it's kind of like a dome. It's a light dome that goes over. The light just diminishes as it goes down to the property line, all the way around the property. So the brightness you see in the center is necessary for operation and safety, but as you go out to the perimeter, there will be no lighting that's perceivable to the neighboring properties. As you said, it is shielded to prevent that from happening.
Okay, thank you. I will take one more question.
Hi, my name is Diane Lung. I live on Mingus Shadows in Clarkdale, and a couple of the council members expressed that this is not their first choice of what would be on this property. So what other options and choices have been talked about and considered?
This is the only option that has come forward. Okay. Chief?
I know this isn't too consoling, but I just want to let you know that one of the things about Clarkdale that's much different than other area communities is we have a no camping ordinance. So we don't have trouble at number one. It was asked of me after I spoke earlier. We don't have a problem at number one. We don't anticipate that problem at Circle K either, because if we see somebody staying there or if we get a complaint that they're camping, you check our parks, we don't allow people to camp in our community. So if we do see vagrants or we do see people there, or even if it's a family sleeping in their car, we move them on down the road because we have that ordinance that many of the other communities don't have. So I just wanted to share that. Hopefully it helps a little bit.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I think we've had all the questions, and I haven't commented, have I? Okay. Any other questions or comments council wishes to make? Yeah.
This is one of those nights where it's hard being in this seat, but when you sit in this seat, you have to look at it from a very broad perspective. And I see both sides of the equation, how we really need this revenue. And I know that it's going to be significant, and it's probably going to help with some of our water and wastewater and streets. But that aside, we also want to do something that's good for the community. And I kind of go back also to Dollar General. I was not involved with the town when that went in, but it's like, what do we need a Dollar General for? There's already a whole bunch of dollar stores, and gosh, lo and behold, it was built, and that's now the neighborhood meetup spot. You go there and you run into neighbors all the time. So I hope that this is going to be a successful business. I hope it's going to be good for our community. I hope that we're going to be able to reap some tourist dollars as they come through. It's going to be something on that side of the street, so that they don't have to go into the roundabout to grab something. It's quick and go. And growth is inevitable. Property owners, we don't have the right sitting in this seat to dictate who's going to go where. If it's zoned for commercial, then we've got to expect that it's going to be commercial. And the only issue at this point is whether the gas pumps are allowed or not. And that's what we're going to be approving tonight. So that's kind of my perspective on it. And go forth, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I do have one question, and then I'll make my comments and our concern. It's a little bit of the safety, the concern that was brought up is and I don't know if ADOT addresses that, or maybe the applicant can, and maybe we can check with ADOT. That roundabout, there are crosswalks on that roundabout on all four sides. And I know you have the right turn into the deceleration lane right into Circle K just a little bit past that one roundabout and the crosswalk, I'm concerned that we really do need signalized markings for that crosswalk. As we have more traffic in that area with the Dollar General, and we don't know what will happen on the other two corners, that intersection is going to be more impacted by bicycles and pedestrian traffic. We already see quite a bit of pedestrian traffic of people who are crossing over from Mingus Shadows or Pine Shadows walking up and down the road. So my question is, was that part of your consideration or your discussions with ADOT, the applicant, or if not, is there some way that staff, we can put this forward to ADOT to get some consideration for some safety? I think it's called advanced sidewalk enhancement, safety things or something like that. Lou, do you wish to comment?
Thank you, Mayor. Lou Anderson. The ADOT facility, we could ask the applicant to check with ADOT to ask if they would require a rapid flashing beacon, which is what they have on Main Street in Cottonwood. I think that would be an appropriate request to just ask the question. We can't dictate what ADOT does or doesn't do on their facility, but that might be something that we could present. I do want to just say that I'm in support of this. The commercial corridor is our 89A. We do have significant needs with our aged infrastructure, with our wastewater treatment plant. There's a potential, if we don't increase revenues as well as increase our users of our systems, that our rates could double. And yes, rooftops are nice and construction sales tax is beneficial. However, it's one-time revenue. These types of commercial businesses are spending significant amount of dollars on these projects, and it's on an 89A corridor, which is commercially zoned. As Councilmember Babbitt Pierce indicated, that is where we have identified the growth. So if you live near or around a commercial area that's commercially zoned, you have to understand that that property is privately held. Private property rights are what they are, and owners can sell the property as such. And so that is my recommendation, and I just wanted to put that forward, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. So could we put my concern as a stipulation? Is that the best way to handle it? I think so. Okay. Thank you. So I would like to add that to the stipulation if we approve this. Steve, just to say that Stephen Polk, our town attorney, sitting down at the end.
Madam Mayor, this is Stephen Polk, town attorney. Just to articulate the stipulation. So that stipulation will be ask the applicant to coordinate with ADOT and request signalized flashers if ADOT is willing to approve that.
At that roundabout for all four crosswalks around it. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Before we go on, I think we would be remiss in not recognizing the Planning Commission and all of the work that they already put into both the application and the considerations. They asked questions about the walls. We take our volunteers very seriously in the town of Clarkdale, and we count on them for a lot of things. And this did come to us from the Planning Commission, I believe, with unanimous approval. Clover's shaking her head. And so we had a group of volunteers and community members who have already looked at this and already said this is the right thing for our community.
Thank you. Yes.
I'd like to extend an invitation to the community because we talked a lot tonight about revenue and about budget. We are in the budget season right now. And so if you are concerned about our revenue or want to know more about it, we hold public meetings. We had a 9-hour public meeting the other day about the budget. We will have more. There will be presentations at council meetings. So you all can get a better understanding also about the things that we're talking about and the impact and why we're looking at revenue in a long-term sustainable manner. It really is important for the town. So I just want to invite people to come to those meetings so you can have a better understanding. And a lot of that stuff is published on our website and stuff. So you can also see it there if you can't make a meeting. So that was just my.
Great, thank you. I want to echo what all my fellow council members said. I agree wholeheartedly with everything that all of you have said. This is our commercial corridor, and I do live in the area. So I know the impact of any commercial that goes in. And I was also a part of design review when Dollar General went in. And I know those discussions. That was like the first big commercial entity along 89A. I knew then, as I know today, that as Cottonwood fills up with commercial, it comes north up 89A. This is the area of growth for commercial. Clarkdale needs it. We need that kind of revenue to sustain us in the long term. I hope that as it builds out, it's not just big entities like Circle K or Dollar General, that we will have places for smaller family mom and pop shop, boutique shops to happen. Oftentimes it is these national chains, these national businesses that drive that capacity for those smaller businesses to grow and flourish along the commercial area. So we need both. It's not one versus the other. This has been our commercial corridor for decades. This is not something new. We've had it. I've been in this town for almost 30 years. It was here before I moved here in our general plan. So it's always been commercial. I knew that when I bought my house where I live. It meets all of the requirements of a conditional use permit for the sale of gasoline. So we can't really say it doesn't. It fits our goals in our strategic plan. Our goal 1 and especially our goal 3, which is finding ways to increase our local revenues in light of the state legislature continuing to find ways to reduce and eliminate state shared revenues by flattening our income tax or elimination of it, eliminating food tax, and other actions such as moratoriums on fees, assessment, and taxes. We are being crushed by the state legislature for revenues. We need to generate our own revenues here. We know that that will continue to happen from the state level. We have to be self-sustaining. We have to take care of ourselves because that's what we do in Clarkdale. We take care of ourselves. The sound wall, because of the differentiation of the topography, I think the 6-foot wall will be adequate. And there's a lot of landscaping. I'm very impressed by the amount of landscaping that's on this project. Maybe I like the aesthetics of the project. I like the modern aesthetics of the project. Some people might not, but I kind of do. We have no real one kind of architecture up and down 89A, so I think it is a fit. It's crisp. It's a good style. And I also trust our police department, our officers, to take care of our community. They do it extremely well. They know everybody. They know what to look for. They will take care of us. I do believe that very much. Lights, hey, when I moved in, there was no lights around me. Every time somebody built a house, there was a light that got into my windows. It continues to happen. There's houses being built up hills. Lights are shining in my house today, and it continues to happen. It's happened for 30 years. It will continue to happen to Clarkdale. We do have dark sky guidelines and we try to meet them. So we do our best. We can't say, everybody turn off your lights. I would like my neighbor to turn off their lights at night. I would like it to be dark again. It's not going to happen. We are doing the best that we can. We are a dark sky compliant community. So with that, if we can take care of the stipulations that are within the staff report, and there are several of them, and we can look at the stipulation of safety. I wish the speed limit weren't 45 going down 89A, but it is. I am in support of this project. I look forward to Circle K being in our community.
Mayor, can I ask one quick
Yes,
question?
you may.
Do we have a timeline? Like
Yeah.
if this gets approved this evening, do we have a sense of when? ground will get
Timeline, yeah,
broken?
that's a good question. We didn't ask that all night. Please tell us.
As of right now, my guess would be to break ground by like the end of the year. Would be
Okay.
kind of where we're at today, assuming we can get all of our building plans approved.
Okay, thank you. Okay, are there any other questions or comments for staff? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we accept the motion with additional stipulations, the ones listed here in our packet, as well as the one with the safety flashing beacon. Did I mess that up? Oh, right. I motion to approve the conditional use permit number 250-188 to construct and operate a Circle K convenience store with fuel sales in accordance with the stipulations as stated in the staff report.
Plus the additional.
The flashing beacon,
Okay,
if possible, that's an ADOT.
that, oh, I understand that. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember O'Neill and second by Vice Mayor Hunsetter to approve conditional use permit number 250-188 to construct and operate a Circle K gas station convenience store with fuel sales in accordance with the stipulations as stated in the staff report and the additional one added. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed to the motion? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, let's move on to item D, which is another public hearing. This is Resolution 1758, authorization to submit applications and implement 2026 Community Development Block Grant Project funding. So again, like we did for the last public hearing, we'll have a presentation, then we'll open it up to public comment. We'll close public hearing and then move on to the next item on the agenda. So go ahead, DK Green is going to be presenting.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, Council, Town Manager Anderson, and the public. Sherry, do we have anyone online from NACOG by chance? Isabel, okay, thank you. So yeah, this is our second public hearing for our community development block grant funds, of which we think we will be receiving a little over $300,000. This is our chance to discuss projects that were brought forward. If you recall, about 6 weeks ago at our first public hearing, there were about a dozen or so different types of community projects that were brought up. Now, the projects have to meet at least one of three criteria. They have to benefit a majority of a low income area of the community. They have to serve an urgent safety or health need, which could be like ADA accessibility, for instance. or they could be a project that eliminates slum and blight. So after the first public hearing, I reached out to everyone that presented an idea, and we invited members of the staff as well as residents of the community to bring their ideas for projects forward. Of the dozen or so projects that were discussed, I received 5 formal requests for funds that I then present to NACOG. NACOG is our partner in this project. The funds come from the Arizona Department of Housing, but NACOG helps us, myself and our staff, vet these projects that were presented to us and make sure that, yes, they are or are not eligible or meet the criteria. So I received 5 formal requests for funds. Those requests ranged from historic preservation of this clubhouse to a slum or blight elimination project in Patio Park, Centerville Park ADA improvements, Centerville fire water flow improvements, and Habitat for Humanity presented a critical home repair project. So with those 5 formal requests, and again, I presented those to NACOG, I presented those, or they present those to the Arizona Department of Housing. There were then 3 projects that were determined to be eligible, and those projects are the Centerville Park ADA improvements, the Centerville fire flow improvements, and the critical home repair project through Habitat for Humanity. So at that, I will I guess we can open it up for discussion now or questions, or I can do my best.
We're in public hearing, so I'll take comments from the public. Okay, thank you. I do have one person who would like to speak. Pam, please come on up. State your name and if you're a Clarkdale resident. And you have 3 minutes.
Pam Ziltner, Clarkdale. I was going to, I'm totally off base on this whole thing. So I'll change my point of view or my whole subject and say it's not for CBD money.
No.
No. I'll vote for I think the Habitat for Humanity with critical housing improvement is huge in this town because we have so many old houses and almost all of them need something. I was lucky enough to totally renovate my house when I bought it. And so it doesn't need anything, but I know there are a lot of houses that do. So that's my vote. And thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else wish to speak with public hearing? Okay. Is anybody online? Okay. Nobody else is coming up for public hearing, so I will close the public hearing. And also, I would like to ask before we take this item up for discussion, I've been requested that we take a 5-minute break. Is that okay? Block project funding were to discuss, consider and act upon this resolution and authorize staff to submit applications and implement project funding, CDBG project funding. It is my understanding is you want from us a ranking of these, or how would you like that? DK.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the plan this evening now is of the 3 projects that have been vetted and deemed eligible for CDBG funds, that the council will then basically, yes, rank them in your most favorite to least favorite for the community. And then that resolution number 1758 will be drawn up so that the last page of the resolution has a 1, a 2, and a 3, so that if the first choice of the council somehow falls through, there's a backup plan and another backup plan. Ideally, we want to utilize these CDBG funds in their entirety. And we hope that, we're able to, fulfill the wish of the council that your favorite project, the project you choose, is what we follow through with. But that's the point of the resolution. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all might have in regards to these projects. I also do have the assistance of Isabel Rollins, our NACOG representative, who's been very helpful to me. She's online right now, answering any questions that maybe I was unable to, and also helping deem the criteria for these different projects on, it can get a little bit tricky as far as if, for instance, the town of Clarkdale is a low-income community. We were classified as low income, but there might be a project that only benefits one certain area or neighborhood. So it may or may not be eligible or meet the criteria for CDBG funds. So that's when I've been able to ask these questions of Isabel, and she can go back to the Department of Housing, Arizona Department of Housing, and confirm that yes or no, these projects fit the criteria. So.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Isabel, is there anything you would like to add before we ask you any questions, or ask both of you questions?
No, I think you did a good job of covering the important items.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being here tonight.
You bet.
Any comments or questions for DK or Isabel?
Point of clarification. I think we learned this in our last round on this, our last discussion on this, is that we can only fund one project. We cannot break the monies up to fund multiple projects.
As I understand it, yes. And Isabel, if I'm mistaken, please correct me, but as I understand it,
Correct. There are some exceptions, but they don't apply to the projects you have.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Any other comments? Yes. Marnie.
Wait, we're in hearing now and we're gonna, or
No, we're in the resolution. We're out of public hearing. We're to discussion and action.
okay. Thank you for clarifying. We
No
took a
problem.
break and I forgot where we were. So I'd like to talk about the projects a little bit. I know that in both the hearing we had tonight and previous hearings, the public have been really excited about the Habitat program. And while I am also excited about the Habitat program, I feel like we need to, knowing our financial situation, we need to use these funds to take care of things that are really timely and going to be costly for the community, the things we have to have, not the things we would like to have. And so because of that, I would like to put the Centerville Park accessibility improvements first on the list. Those are things that we know we have to take care of this year. And then the fire flows impacts a large part of the community, very important. And then finally, Habitat.
Okay. Yes, Lisa.
Well, I agree with everything Councilwoman Babbitt Pierce said, including the ranking order, but mainly, of course, it's the old cheapness in me. That's the Centerville Park accessibility fits. We can get that much money.
Yeah.
And we won't have to put in $100,000, and we won't be spending only part of the money. So, and also I love Habitat for Humanity. I think it's a great organization. I don't like the idea of us hinging our project on somebody else's ability to complete. So, that's about all. Oh, also, I believe that Centerville Park, Joni can correct me if I'm wrong. Centerville Park, if we don't make improvements to it this year, it's not going to be usable. It's not going to be open, and that would be a great detriment to that community.
Yeah. Okay.
So thanks, Marty. You did my speech for me.
Okay. Deb.
I agree with everything that's previously been said, but I also want to point out that Centerville Park is a safety concern for a number of reasons. For the bathrooms, not having the proper locking. And I think that's a huge safety issue in this day and age. And the fact that we've seen pictures of the playground equipment, I think children are at risk of being hurt. So, and, you know, for all the other reasons that were previously spoken about, that stands as my number one. And then I would say number two would be the fire flows and water improvements. Only number two, because we would have to put in additional money for that. And I do see the Centerville Park being just a very good use of the money and being able to use it all.
Yes.
I would agree, and I do think if we, in finishing Centerville Park, at least for a very brief moment, all of our parks will be really up to standard, and that will be really very exciting. So I think Centerville Park, the Centerville Fire Flows, and then the Habitat for Humanity.
Okay, yeah, I agree with everybody else, and I agree with the safety issue of the park and it bringing it up to a level with all the other parks so that we can say we have all of our parks are in great shape. And we can do some interesting programming with all of our parks then easily. So I agree with the ranking, the revitalization of the park. It's a great confined project. It's done. The Centerville water line. I know that our water lines in Centerville, we think they're bad in Upper and Lower Clarkdale. They're not much better over there either. So, and they're undersized. I think we have some of them that are undersized. But if we have to, number two, and I absolutely agree with Verde Valley Habitat, with what Lisa said, I would love to have a program of home repair, home revitalization for our community, but I would like it not to be in the hands of another organization. So with that, that's my rankings also. So I think that's clear. So if there's no other discussion, I'll take a motion.
I move that what are we moving? We're ranking and approving Resolution 1758, authorizing staff to submit applications and implement 2026 Development Block Grant CDBG project funding and authorizing the mayor, town attorney, and town clerk to execute all documents. And the ranking would be the Centerville Park accessibility improvements, number one, and number two being Centerville fire flows and water improvements as the backup or contingent project.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and second by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce to approve Resolution 1758, authorizing staff to submit applications and implement the 2026 Community Development Block Grant Project as ranked as proposed. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, hearing none, motion carried. Thank you so much, DK. Thank you, Isabel. And you got your work ahead of you now.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to items F. Just to note, if we're not done before 8:30, that Councilmember Babbitt Pierce is going to have to leave, okay? But we might make it. Thank you so much, Stephen, for being here tonight. Okay, Centerville Road Extension Property Demolition. This is to discuss, consider, and act upon a bid from Environmental Response for $56,945 and a budget transfer of $61,000 from CIP contingency to CIP T06 for the demolition and removal of debris and other materials for the Centerville Road Extension. And Town Manager Lou Anderson's going to speak to this. And all I can say, yay, it's time.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This agenda item supports the following Clarkdale goal Area 4, plan for the maintenance and growth of quality infrastructure that is sustainable and resilient. As you know, per the Second Amendment of the development agreement with Mountain Gate, the town was to acquire the necessary properties for the developer to design and construct the Centerville Road extension. So the town has gotten quotes to clean up the property, demolition, the old home, and also remove all of the debris. The quotes came in, McDonald Brothers was 76,000, Tiffany 72, and ERI, or Environmental Response, came in at 56,945. So the additional 4,000 is for fencing. So we have secured the property and we need the additional 4,000 to continue that lease with the rental of the fence. Budget impact, CIP T06 245-800-8013 Centerville Road Extension, budgeted at 0. We recommend funding of 61,000 from CIP contingency, budgeted at $225,000. Staff recommends the council approve the bid from ERI and the budget transfer of 61,000 from CIP contingency to CIP T06 for the demolition, removal of debris and other material for the Centerville Road extension, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents.
Yes.
Hi, town manager. So those like $10,000 difference seems reasonable, but like almost 20. Why is ERI so much less?
ESRI did the initial cleanup, the phase 1, and did the cleanup. I believe that they have a better handle on environmental cleanup, disposal. They have probably networks for the refrigerators and the white goods that are there and the 55-gallon barrels. So that would be my explanation. They all looked at the same specifications. So thank you.
So we're not afraid that it's an inferior job in any way. They may just have more information.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Lou?
Yeah. Are you completely satisfied with the work that ERI has done up to this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Well, all I can say is we've worked hard to get this far with this project. And it's great that we're finally getting the bid to take the houses, that the properties, clean them up completely now and move forward with the extension, hopefully soon after that. So with that, I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the bid from Environmental Response for $56,945 and a budget transfer of $61,000 from CIP contingency to CIP T06 for the demolition and removal of debris and other materials for the Centerville Road extension and authorize the town manager to execute all documents.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce and seconded by Councilmember O'Neill to approve a bid from Environmental Response for $56,945 and a budget transfer of $61,000 from CIP contingency as presented. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, motion carried. Thank you so much for doing this work and getting this moving forward. Okay, let's move on to items G, which is wastewater treatment plant effluent. This is to discuss, consider, and act upon a grant award from the Nature Conservancy for $26,620 and an additional service agreement from Ardura for $51,620 for additional study of wastewater treatment plant effluent discharge and suitability for the feasibility of discharging to an ephemeral water body. And Water Director Josh Tomerlin is going to speak to this topic. Hi, Josh.
Hello, good evening. So we're here to discuss the Nature Conservancy grant and act upon their award of $26,620, an additional ASA or additional service agreement from Ardura for $51,620 total to study the wastewater treatment plant effluent and discharge suitability for discharge to the ephemeral water body, which is Bitter Creek. In 2024 and 2025, the Nature Conservancy assisted the town of Clarkdale with the preliminary evaluation of the wastewater treatment plant for the feasibility of discharging to the Bitter Creek Wash. This 2026 study will continue to explore the feasibility of discharging effluent from the Broadway Wastewater Reclamation Facility directly into the Bitter Creek and identify the improvements necessary to meet the water quality standards required by those regulatory agencies. A preliminary effluent testing plan will enable characterization of physical, chemical, and biological components of the wastewater and evaluate the suitability of discharging the effluent to the ephemeral water body should Bitter Creek be designated as such. The budget impact would be the Nature Conservancy grant from TNC for $26,620 for fiscal year 2027, and wastewater treatment plant effluent evaluation TNC match of our funds of $25,000 for fiscal year 2026. So staff recommends that the council accept the Nature Conservancy's award of $26,620, and that there's additional ASA in the amount of $51,620 for additional study of the wastewater treatment effluent discharge, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents. This does align with goal area 4. This was planning for the maintenance and growth of quality infrastructure that is sustainable and resilient. And goal area 6, adopt water conservancy strategies to prevent negative aquifer impacts and no degradation to the Verde River flows. Do you have any
Great.
questions?
Questions, comments for Josh? Yes.
This is so exciting in so many ways. First, that we are studying this, that we're going to possibly be able to do something really great with the effluent, and that we're also utilizing grants to offset the cost. So thank you for all your work.
Any other comments for Josh? Yes, Lisa.
I have a question. Right now, Bitter Creek is designated as flowing, correct?
Perennial.
And just brief outline, what's the process of getting it switched to ephemeral?
Currently is considered I think it's a part-time, or it's not perennial, it doesn't flow all the time, but it's only flows during a certain time intermittently. So we've partnered with TNC currently, and what they are doing is they're doing a study currently. So they set up cameras and flow gauges at certain areas. And over the years, they'll watch this and they'll submit this in to have it changed. And should it be changed, then we would be able to discharge into it. Currently, we aren't able to because of its current designation. We know that Bitter Creek currently only flows when it rains, and it probably should be an ephemeral. So that's why we're making all these efforts. The 2024-2025 study brought out some of these deficiencies that we didn't really know as far as getting a complete package set up. One of those things is the designation of the Bitter Creek Wash. That, and on top of it is that we didn't really know what we call them constituents or maybe contaminants in the wastewater. We didn't really know which ones to actually go after and which ones we needed to have tested. So this will be a lot broader testing. You're basically going to be testing for almost all the constituents around, and then be able to see which ones are going to be hitting levels that aren't going to be in compliance for the regulatory agencies. And then we have to figure out, will our current processes be able to remove those additionally, or is there anything we need to add on to the wastewater treatment plant in the future to be able to do this? So this is the very first preliminary steps of us being able to discharge into Bitter Creek.
Any other comments for Josh?
Yeah. So my understanding is Bitter Creek then eventually flows down to the Verde River, correct?
Correct, ma'am, yes.
We just heard tonight, earlier in the evening, I don't know if you were here, the report card for the Verde River report card. Taking steps like this to get to where we want to be, would that have some effect on that report card later on down the line?
There's always a possibility. Typically, our water, we want to discharge enough to where it doesn't reach the Verde River and we're dumping directly into the Verde River. We want to be able to discharge and have it basically soak in before it reaches the Verde River.
Okay.
And that has to do with a lot of the way the Verde River is designated. We knew we would have to really change a lot of our process to do that, but dumping it upstream and having it flow down, it also helps recharge our own aquifers that we have there. We also have, because we do discharge on our property over there, we sprinkle, and we do have monitoring wells. So some of these things will be helping us in the future as we start having to do monitor if we were to discharge into the creek.
The bottom line is this is going to be very effective and water wise for our community.
Correct. Yeah, it actually, more than anything I see, it'll really help as far as it'll help our current aquifer recharge. Instead of right now, currently we sprinkle where predominantly most of the water is used up by the surrounding vegetation and evaporation.
Okay. I just want to thank you and all the staff that participated in working on this.
Okay. Yes, Laura, any comments?
No, I whether this will help our aquifer, I do think it's a good use of our effluent. I think anything that we can add into the system, it will soak in and become groundwater. It won't be directly discharged into the river, but any of that is going to help the river ultimately. And I still think this allows us to use our effluent in other ways, like for the parks. And if there's future uses for that, we can still use that in different ways. It doesn't mean we cannot use our effluent for anything else. So I think it gives us it gives us a more productive use for this, what we're not using maybe than what we're doing now. And it still leaves it open for us.
Yeah, I think that's it, a more productive use than just spraying on the ground, which is all we're doing basically down there now. Huh? Oh, and creek. Yeah.
This just helps us along the way as we start looking in the future of how we're going to use our water more wisely. If the future comes up and technology changes rapidly, that we can do, direct potable reuse.
Right.
That way, as we look in the future, we look at our expanding and building a better wastewater treatment facility. We use this data again to see what the constituents we have. As we have an APP that's coming up here in the next few years, it also feeds data to ADEQ and how that APP will be rewritten, since they're rewriting every APP around in the whole state currently.
Okay, yes.
APP.
APP is a aquifer protection plan. So everything is to protect every one of the, what we have here, all the aquifers. So all of this data will send up help. We have a lot of, like Jerome and them, they're grandfathered in. They have an older water treatment plant. They're going to have to redo their APP permit along with us in order to say, how are we going to better protect the aquifers and what we dump into? So.
And this moves us forward. We've been talking about this for a couple of years now. So this is a really good movement forward, starts meeting those requirements, meets the goal that we created around all of this to help eventually help the Verde River. Yeah, it's better than just spraying on the ground like we are today. So if there's no other comments or anything, I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we accept the Nature Conservancy's award of $26,620 and approve Adora's additional service agreement in the amount of $51,620 for additional study of the wastewater treatment plant effluent discharge and authorize the town manager to execute all documents.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Jones and second by Vice Mayor Hunstetter to approve a grant award from the Nature Conservancy for $26,620 and approve the additional service agreement from Adora for $51,620 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you so much, Josh, for staying with us tonight and presenting this. Let's move on to our final item, which is before future agenda, which is the 26-27 Council Strategic Plan for the Town of Clarkdale And Town Manager Lou Anderson's going to do a presentation on this.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Yeah, this is really exciting because, as you know, the council has adopted a strategic priorities, which helps to set goals and then our strategic priorities for the year. And I'm going to go through a presentation and I will try not to dilly-dally because I know the hour is getting late. Next slide, please. So as you know, the strategic planning process is fluid and we have continuous reevaluation of our strategic priorities, reviewing mission, analyzing inputs from matrix such as our surveys, focus groups, metrics on our CIP and budget. And so we did a SWOT analysis. We hold a public hearing. And so it just all flows together. Next slide. As I said, the strategic plan feeds our general plan, project matrix, which we use to track our progress, our budget, and our capital improvement program. This is just a snapshot of the matrix, which you're all very familiar with. You see that quarterly as our directors update as we progress through each of the strategies. Next. You're also very familiar with our vision. The town of Clarkdale capitalizes upon our unique history, proximity to the Verde, and small town charm. We cultivate a safe environment where residents and business can thrive. Next slide. Our mission, the town of Clarkdale serves the community by providing amenities, infrastructure, service, and public safety to enhance the quality of life. We are stewards of our history while sustainable, resilient, plan for future with the emphasis on community engagement and transparency. And here are our values: copper, customer focused, open, transparent, preserving history, planning for a sustainable future, economic and social resilience, and resourceful and innovative. So I want to go through each of the goal areas, and I want to really highlight the progress that the town and the staff and council have made each year, this last year. And so I'm going to talk about goal area 1 first, and I'd like to, yeah, isn't that a great picture? Goal area 1, which is enhance the quality of life for residents, businesses, and visitors to Clarkdale. So in last year, we completed the grant-funded housing study to identify the type of new housing needs to achieve a vibrant economy. We updated the town code, appointed a citizen advisory committee to assist with that, and that was a daunting task that the team had taken on, as well as thank you to our citizens for that. Reestablish the MOU with Yan for PD coverage and continue our efforts to have a strong relationship with the nation and residents, and conduct a community-wide survey every 2 years. Slide. Yeah, thank you. Thanks to the staff. Goal area 1, the new strategies that we've added is implement the recommendations from the housing study for income-aligned housing, have exterior of the administration building repaired, as well as the windows and doors in the PD, repair ceiling in the auditorium, evaluate certified local government status, determine if this is benefits are compelling to the town, update the website, assess if there are any state or federal lands to be considered for annexation, complete cleanup activities at Kaya Medina, and begin work with the developer to begin construction of the Centerville Road extension to 89A, and complete the sale of estate property to fund improvements to the library building, which is DK is doing a wonderful job. And I know the estate sale wrapped up and DK was up there today and it was completely cleared out. So it must have been. Goal area 2, enhance the quality and availability of our parks, recreation, and cultural opportunities. There's a beautiful picture of the Steam Park. Goal area 2, what we have completed is the Selna Mangini Park. Congratulations to Shell and the entire team and Joni. Begin evaluation and planning for upgrades to the Centerville Park. Goal area 2, new strategies, complete the CDBG project for Centerville Park, expand the park steward program beyond the Steam Park pilot, seek grant funds for the construction of paths on Cement Plant Road and Clarkdale Parkway, and plan for transition due to pending retirements. Which we have a great succession plan and you've seen that in action. Goal area 3 is strengthen and diversify our economy through cultivating a business-friendly climate for business attraction and strategically capitalizing upon tourism. The completed strategy, evaluate the cost benefit of purchasing a downtown property. The new strategies for 27, complete development process for the Circle K and U-Haul, partner with the train in light of their acquisition of the Tawaki Hotel. Continue participation in Yavapai College initiative regarding semiconductor industry. Assist WeCom as they expand broadband in Clarkdale.
And tell people that fiber really is more important than wireless.
And it is coming, and they're doing a great job. It's a really good contractor, and we have only had 3 complaints in the last 2 months, and they've responded immediately. So we're very pleased with their work. Goal area 4, plan for the maintenance growth of quality infrastructure that is sustainable and resilient. Completed. Obtain funding and construct the Third North Sewer Project. That was a big project. Thank you, Josh and team. Complete design of the Bitter Creek Bridge, which we've done that, yes. Develop and implement a fleet replacement plan. Implement street maintenance, pavement management action plan, contract for restriping of roads, and complete upgrades to the VRIC effluent site. New strategies, complete update to rate study for water, wastewater, including assessment of our capacity fees. Complete implementation of the plan to limit water loss. Make interim repairs to the wastewater treatment plant, corrosion. Begin design of a second aerator. Seek grant funding for projects in the water, wastewater master plan. Goal area 5, strategically invest in the organization development to enhance efficiency and service delivery and to attract and retain an exemplary workforce. Completed strategies, improve organizational onboarding process, research in an employee wellness program, roll out additional leadership and communication training, DISC, investigate additional medical insurance coverages, and plan an annual celebration event. New strategies for goal area 5, add short-term disability as a benefit if finances allow, add pay advance program through ADP, ensure annual ethics, sexual harassment, and cybersecurity training occur, take actions to ensure good transition of new leadership, which is wonderful. It's okay. It's probably the latest meeting you've had for a little while. Maybe I don't know if that's good or bad. Goal area 6, adopt water conservation strategies that prevent negative aquifer impacts and no degradation of the Verde River flows. Completed strategies, develop a reclaim water reuse demonstration project, adopt water wastewater master plan, complete repairs on systems, including Haskell Tank and 89A booster station, complete cemetery water recharge project via grant, apply for a reclaimed water purple pipe design grant for Clarkdale. And our new area strategies for area 6, look for a site for future well away from other wells, complete build out of the 89A well. And I think Josh just got the design at 60-70% to review. Seek funding for the new water storage tank, hold community-wide lunch and learns to share information about water-wise strategies and practices. Questions?
Questions?
No question. It's just, I love this ongoing review of what's been accomplished. It's always so amazing to hear what staff has accomplished in just a year's time. And thank you for that review.
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to say, I hope the staff gets to see this, that all the staff gets to see this, because I think it is really special to see it in writing. what actually has been done. And I think everybody on the staff has contributed to this. So I hope there's a way to share this with employees,
Yeah.
with the whole staff, so they can see and they can hear our appreciation and know that the community appreciates what they do, because this is really impressive.
Yeah. I echo that 100%. It's, you look at that and you go, well, oh yeah, we did do that this year. We did do that this year. And it's breathtaking at times. It very much is, and so much appreciated for staff to just keep moving us forward with these priorities that they've, the strategies that you've determined that are the top ones to move forward. We're working on them, we're getting them done. And this is a great example of that. I really appreciate you highlighting that tonight, because that just shows, it gives me goosebumps just to think about it. So thank you to staff for all you do to accomplish all this, and do please share that with them. Yes, Marnie.
And I think we should recognize ourselves a little bit here. I mean, obviously the staff does all the work, but I think the way that we put everything together, that we have strategic goals, that we budget around them, that we have a vision, and we listen to the community and we take their vision and we put it all together and we make it possible for the staff to move it forward. So thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely. Yes. All of us are a part of this, and we believe in it and we follow it, and we hopefully give the green light to staff to just move forward. And that's what it's about, because I can't say enough of this team. I always say I'm proud of what we can accomplish for a small town of 5,000, and the impact that we've made, not just for our residents here, but sort of like the model we have built that we encourage other towns to look at to help make them successful, because what we're doing here is working. It's tough sometimes. It's tough when our revenue streams are being diverted or taken away, but we find a way to get through it, and we stay on course. We don't get distracted very much. So that's the cool part of all of this. So thank you to all of us. Yes.
And I would just add that, there's a lot that's been going on and a lot that's been accomplished, but I think through it all, we've still managed to maintain our small town charm and small town feel and sense of community that is so important to Clarkdale and our residents.
Yes. Echo.
Here, here.
Here, here. So we do need to formally adopt this. So I will entertain a motion.
So moved. I move that we adopt the 26-27 council strategic plan for the town of Clarkdale.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and second by Councilmember Jones to approve the 26-27 council strategic plan for the town of Clarkdale. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Go forward with our plan. Thank you all. So last item is future agenda items. Charity has our wonderful list here. Just know that I will not be at the next council meeting.
You're stuck with me.
Yeah, she can do it. She's got it done. Okay, anything we need to add to the future agenda items that you would like to have here? No. Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce and second by Vice Mayor Hunsetter to adjourn the meeting at 8:29 p.m. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We are adjourned, and Marnie's out of here before 8:30.